Hi guys, Natalie here, Not United TV. Me with David. David, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, guys, this is a new concept. Let's say I'm going to try, and we're just basically just going to talk because with COVID, we can't talk about games, we can't talk about anything new really. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about. I call them the development team, the devs, but the Man United women's under 21 team. They're in a WSL academy. We'll talk a bit about the academy and the setup of that. But let's go back to the start, Dave, when we first knew about them, the devs, and that's when they were the devs, really. There's a few players there still now, but obviously the first game we ever went to was the cup game. But tell me your experiences of it.
Well, I actually saw earlier on in the season during the not league games, but the first season you were setting up the women's team. It was all focused on the first team, basically getting everyone through, and the academy side wasn't really there. They had a team, but they didn't have a league set up or anything like that. Because how it used to work was there was an under 16s team, and then from there you got released because there was nowhere to go on from there because we didn't have a team until last season. So then they set up what they call a development team, which was just an in-place team in between the under 16s to the first team, and they used to play friendlies against different teams. I think I saw him play Morecambe. I think it was no. I saw him play Fylde. Sorry, I saw him play. And they had a couple of first teamers playing as well. They used it like a reserves. I think. Trying to think who played. Eben yeah, and Lucy Roberts played, and ironically, Bentley was in goal for Fylde because she was on loan there at the time. But yeah, they were just playing friendlies against teams he could play against. They were playing against lads teams as well. They could just anything they can get their hands on. And like I say, it was a way to. They weren't focused on it. It was all about setting up the first team, and then obviously the season after, which is the season we're having now or we've had, we're not too sure yet, was where they set up the under 21s and where they're in a proper league now.
Hey, both Gary and John. No, but yeah, there was a league last year. This league that we're in now, it started last year, but we weren't obviously in it because we set everything up late, and the team was just basically the under 16s from the season before.
Yeah, so there was quite a few players let go from the development team when we joined the under 21s. Players who were still there were like Alex Everett in goal, Newsham, Niamh Murphy, trying to think, Maria Figueiredo, Chloe Broughton, Chloe Howard, Rebecca May, she was one of them. Holly Davenport, who I think was the captain, but she obviously got injured at the start of the season, didn't play at all this season, and it was Fran Stables as well. She was there last season as well.
Yeah, well, they were most of those names that you've said. I know Alex was there, Charlotte, Holly Davenport, but Fran was on the bench, and probably even the younger ones were on the bench. Maria Figueroa did play that Arsenal Cup game. Unfortunately, we lost that Cup game, but I think the development team, they were just playing friendlies, but they entered the Cup, and for them to get through the Cup, which is sort of like the FA Cup that we have, and if you get knocked out of that cup, you go into the plate. But so for them to beat
I think I've got the program.
Yeah.
It was called the FA WSL Academy League Cup Final. If you
yeah,
can see this.
So that's cups that's still going. For them to play against teams that are in a league, playing every week, and then get all the way to the final against Arsenal, who were one of the, been going for years. Arsenal set up is like clockwork. It was a big achievement that first year, anyway.
Massive achievement. I mean, it was they just went in it just to see what they could do and to reach the final with a team that was just, like I say, not playing. Well, they're playing week in, week out, but not against proper league. They didn't know who they were playing against, so it was brilliant.
They were having,
basically, yeah, and got to the final, and then we just came across Paige Bailey-Gale, unfortunately.
Yeah, he was a really good player. She's now playing for Leicester, and she's Leicester's top player, scoring goals left, right, and centre in the Championship. She scored like a hat trick that day. But obviously, that was encouragement to get to the final. Yes, we didn't win it. It's not for, but to get all the way to the final was a fantastic achievement. And then this season, we've entered the league properly. We've actually got a full team. They recruited different players from different areas. So Chloe Williams came from Wolves. Meg Hornby came from Wigan. I'm sure there's some other people. We got someone during the season, Tara Bourne from City.
We got players as well who were originally in the United's under-16s who went on to City because and then we got them back when we had a team. So
Maria Edwards has come back in. That's a name that
Lara Miller, she was one of them as well.
Who? Lara Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any more? Can't remember.
There must be, but I can't think at the top of my head.
Just them two. Maybe there'll be more. People add in if anyone's listening now or listens later and knows sort of bits and bobs. They can always add in. But then we started the team, and we went. Me, yourself, and Ben went to a few of the pre-season games.
Yeah, so we went to the Morecambe game, didn't we? Where we won 4-0. Oh, did you not go to that? Yeah, I think that was 4-0. Fran Stables was brilliant that day. She's got 2. I think Edwards got 1, like she always does, and Maria Figueiredo, she got 1 as well. Then I think the first one did you go to? I'm not sure if you went. Was that the pre-season? Yeah, you went to the pre-season one where that was the first time we saw Megan Hornby, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were 2-0 down, 3-0 down at half time. I think they scored a penalty with the last kick of the half, and
you didn't know what to do, did you?
Marie Redford got 1. Then Megan Hornby come off the bench and just changed the game, scored 2 goals, and then Edwards got another one, didn't she? And then we won 4-3, which was unreal, really.
Yeah, it was like I'm not even going to compare, but it was like a comeback. Fergie-esque comeback,
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It's a shame it was a pre-season game because it was brilliant, really. And then the last one we went to was Sheffield, wasn't it? Yeah, Sheffield. Where was that 2-2, wasn't it? Yeah, and Edwards got 1 again, and then Figueiredo scored again. But I think that was the last time we saw Lara Miller. She captained in that game. I don't know if she played after that, but that's the last time I saw her or you saw her.
Yeah, I've seen her, yeah.
Unfortunately, she damaged her knee and she was out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and obviously, we've been in this Academy League. Well, the Academy League has been voided. They're not going to continue it. They'll start again in August or September. But it's just as it stands, the league and the plate and the cup all finished, which is unfortunate because I think we were coming into a bit of form. United currently sitting 7th, but they've got about 3 games in hand. So they would have moved up that table. They were doing really good. But I mean, when we first started going, Dave, what did you think of the, just the games that we were playing? And obviously the setup of the league, it's a bit strange, isn't it? It's a bit different.
Yeah, the league's weird because you're playing the local teams home and away twice, really. So you play, like the cities, you'd play home and away twice. Bristol, I think we played them. We played them away and at home, and I think we were to play them away again. So certain teams you play more than other teams, which is a bit weird. It's just to it's just to get games in. So I'm happy with that because at the end of the day, it's not really about winning the league. We want, like it is with the lads. I'm not bothered if we win the reserve league. I'm not bothered we're not in the reserve top league. It's all about getting players through to the first team. Mason Greenwood, for example, he didn't win anything in the reserve league. Didn't really win the top league in the 18s, but he's in the first team. That's the most important thing. It's not about winning stuff at youth level. So, yeah, I'm really happy with the setup. I think it's competitive games. It was better than what I saw last season.
Definitely.
You can see the individual players performing and also see the team working as an actual unit. Someone like Fran Stables, she looks brilliant. Rebecca May, who's made a first team appearance in the middle, looks brilliant. Both the Marias, I think, are brilliant, but Edwards is just on another level.
Yeah, and then that's the name that everyone talks about, isn't it?
Yeah, well, because she's great player, she's scoring goals, but I think credit's got to go to the whole team. Poppy Lawson and Chloe Broughton at the back. I think they're brilliant, and you got to remember Chloe Broughton. She got injured against Birmingham in the league. Yeah. They had to have an ambulance, and she was taken away. She was out for a while, and she came back and looked really good. It's just a shame the league's ended now because that'd have been an improvement on her development.
I mean, those 2 centre backs. Poppy is the captain now of the development team, and I think when I saw her play, her and Chloe, I thought, you're very good. I think they've really come on as a team from the games when we first saw them at pre-season. The 1 or 2 games that I did see before Christmas, I think we played Everton twice during Christmas, and the first one was a draw. And then even just going on to it, guys, when teams draw, it's not just a point and that's it. It's draw, and then they go to penalties.
Yeah,
so,
it's like ice hockey where you get a point and then you can get an extra point if you win the shootout. That was one with like, you didn't go to it unfortunately, but the Arsenal game at home where we were 2-0 down and no hope left, and then I think the 89th and 91st minute, Maria Edwards scored 2 goals to get the point, and then unfortunately we lost on penalties, but
you got the point.
It didn't really matter to me because it was just the amazement of coming back. It was unbelievable.
That's what I've seen a lot in this Devs team. There is a fight back, and they've started to build. They were building, especially that unity, that togetherness as a team, knowing how to fight back. A lot of games we were losing by the odd goal, but then I think it was probably even around January, December time, they were developing this fight back, and they play in the cup, and they played Durham in the cup. You went to that one, didn't you, Dave?
Yeah. But before that, I must say, we a game that I went to, which was a real big test, was City away in the league, and the focus point on that was 3 first teamers were playing with Sigsworth, Molly Green, and Ella Toon. But to be honest, the performance wasn't about them. It was the rest of the players looked amazing, and we went there and beat City 4-1, which was not unheard of. But they're an established academy team. They do well. If you look in the past, they're winning things all the time, like Arsenal. And we played them off the park. It was unreal. Maria Figueiredo, she scored an unreal goal. Edwards got a couple, and Rebecca May got one as well. And even Alex Everett pulled out a great save. It was just a great performance, and it was great to see. Like Solskjaer was there because his daughter, she's been playing for them. She's featured on the bench a lot, but for him to witness that, the academy side of the women's there, and I just think it's all, exactly, and playing well in City's backyard, it was really good to see.
Well, yeah, no, it has been like I'm sort of saying, it's been good, and they've been putting money into it, and they've you can see the difference between last year when it was just a few coaches that would.
Well, not even last year. At the start of this year, he was he probably, when we went to the pre-seasons, he was probably two or three coaches, including Charlotte Healy, the manager. Now they've got a full unit set up there now, where you can see even Ian Wilcock's been there a few times. He's helping out with the goalkeeping side, and you can see it's a proper team now, and it's going to be moving forward to the future. And I think Casey's got it that way to get players through, because she has used them in the first team. Talk about Rebecca May making a debut at Reading, but she's been on the bench before that. Maria Edwards had been on the bench. Chloe Williams had been on the bench, so they are there to be used, not just to play in the academy league.
Well, no, I can definitely see like a lot of people coming through, and John and LB and Fiona, thanks for joining us. Fiona's sort of saying, who do you see breaking through next year? For me, Fiona, it's a hard one, because I think we're very strong in midfield, and we're strong very centrally. We are strong on the width, like you said, Maria Figueroa and Meg Hornby, but I just think centrally, Rebecca May has been, unfortunately, she got injured. When we've come in,
been the best player in the middle.
She's not been playing, or she's been with the first team. But I think she's potentially going to definitely make it. And then obviously, I know we won't just talk about her, but baby girl Maria Edwards will go on to her little second.
There's another player that came in late. We got her from Liverpool, Tara Bourne. She's looked brilliant for me. She's been a real good signing, and I think if the season had gone on, she'd been the next one to be on the bench, I think. Yeah. But talking about players that are going first team, I'm thinking about position-wise, and if you look at this season for the first team, when Galton and Hanson were both injured, we missed them wide players, and I think next season someone like Fran Stables could fit in that role, because she's good at going forward, and so you got to look at positions rather than the actual players. Whereas if you look at, like, I think Chloe Broughton and Poppy Lawson are brilliant at centre backs, but at this moment in time, they're probably not going to get in the first team at this moment. But even though they're great, so you got to look at positions.
Would you though, Dave? For example, I'm going to use it as an example. When a lot of people came through, Man United men, that for example, Axel Tuanzebe, he didn't start off playing as centre-back. He played a right-back. So would you play Broughton or Poppy as a right-back first? Because that is an issue where sometimes, who needed full-back, maybe put them there.
If we need players.
Alongside Abby, have Abby and Millie there talking to them and helping them along back three, stuff like that. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a possibility. It is. The players will want to do it because they want to play for the first team. But what you got to realise, especially with our under-21 team, they're not really under-21. It's more like the under-18s. So they're very, very young team. So you've got to put that into perspective, where they're not fully there yet as players. That's why I think the Academy League's been so great this season, because you've seen them develop this year. It's ironic, really. The development team didn't do much, whereas now it's the under-21s. They've developed a bit. So, we're talking, mentioned her before, Maria Edwards, unbelievable player. I mean, really unbelievable. One of the best young players I've seen. But is she ready for the first team yet? For me, no. I think she's too young still, and I think it will be the season after before we see her.
But that's the kind of talent that you don't want to be losing. And, you've sort of made reference that it's, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but she's as good as can be as good as Mason Greenwood.
Well, I said, for me, Mason Greenwood's the best player I've seen come through United's academy. Watched him a ton of times live, and people refer to Ravel Morrison, who was a great player we saw, but Greenwood's the best I've seen. And even though I know it's a short time watching the women, but she's on that level really for me. She's not pacey, but she's just on the ball. She's unreal, and she can score from anywhere really. Some of the goals she scored, and the timing of the goals as well. It's just brilliant.
I mean, would you maybe, like you just said there, you said to me about needing someone on the wing. Would you not protect? You see, that's where she played in Oslo, on the wing. So for me, I think, yes, I'd like to see her maybe go on loan or something like that. Loan more.
Yeah, I do think, and I don't think Championship loan. I'm thinking like Huddersfield personally, where she's going to get games. She's going to play 90 minutes.
Yeah, all the
time. She's going to improve the game, because she's still a kid at the end of the day. Yeah. And maybe the season after, maybe a loan again, this time to someone like a Sheffield, depending if they're still in the Championship. And then I think she'll be ready for the first team after that. And it's going to be frightening if we still got Lauren James and Maria Edwards, and we got them two up front. It's going to be frightening.
Watching them both, and it'll be amazing, guys. Listen, I mean, we haven't watched every game. You can sort of find out little bits, but I think we had it as I think we played 14 games, maybe up to about 20 if you include the cup. But basically we got knocked out of the cup, but there was a little fight back, and then we got in it, and then we played in the plate. And we were due to play Liverpool in the semi-final of the plate. That would have been an amazing game, because we had beaten Liverpool at their patch. So this was going to be, semi-final at their patch. But playing, a game and seeing how they do, I don't even know what I was going to say. Just would you? It's hard to explain what I mean, but I mean, Fiona's here saying she'd like to see a few people on the bench more often. Do you think that gives them that experience? I mean, obviously you watch the men more. So what do you think they are on the bench, as opposed to not playing?
Well, it's one of them now. They play weekdays, don't they? But if the game on Sunday, if you're someone like a Fran Stables, who I mentioned before, and you've got the opportunity to play for the under-21s on a Sunday, or be on the bench for the first team and not play, I'd want the player to play for the under-21s, and I'd want the player to. That's what they want to do. Bring it back to Greenwood. I know from experience that when he was this is last season, he turned down the chance to go with the first team because he said, "Oh, you're just going to be part of the travelling squad. It's just experience for you. You'd rather go and play for the under-18s and get that match experience." So I'd rather, unless they're going to actually play, I'd rather them play for the under-21s, because it's the experience and the time they're going to get is going to be in training, and we already know that the under-21s, certain players have been training with the first team, because when you see the winning team photos, there's always not always, but there's sometimes a player in there on the under-21 team. So if they're training with them, yeah, but until they're ready to play and they're actually going to play, like Rebecca May, they brought her on to actually play. I don't see the point of just being on the bench.
Mm. For example, a game that someone was on the bench and we ended up losing, but I'm not saying she would have made a difference, but it would have been nice maybe in the last. I mean, we did end up conceding in the last minute, but Maria against Arsenal. I'm not saying throw her on. I'm not saying she would have done anything, but
I just think she's still too young for me. And if she looks great. I mean, she really does look great, and I'm a massive fan of her. But if you throw her on against Arsenal, they're gonna push her off the ball. She hasn't got that strength, and she's not like Lauren, is she? Really, she's not strong like her.
Pushed off the ball that first game anyway.
I know, but you've got to be patient with her, because the talent is there, but it's all about the maturing her into the right player now.
Yeah, a lot of the devs I think are on. They're going to be there next year, and I think a lot of the 16s are going to come up. We've already seen like Phoebe Holland, she's 16, she's playing right back, she's coming in and out. She's not playing like all the games like Rebecca May's there all the time. Rebecca May's 18 though.
Same with
we see
Solskjaer
more
as well.
Yeah. Solskjaer's 16. We're going to see probably more 16-year-olds coming through, and it's going to be like drip feeding them in little bits at a time. And like you said, this team is practically under 18s. There's only a couple that are like 19. What do you see sort of maybe the future? Maya's just basically come up and said a little question. Hey, Dave, this I would have definitely given. I understand why Casey played the players that she played, but it was Leicester's development team that ended up playing against us. So
I know that, but at the end of the day, we're a new team. We need to get far in the competition, so you can't take any risks. And we've got to remember, we've got a big squad. So, like someone like Ella Toon didn't play before that, so that's a perfect game for her. You've got to put these players these people in the first team who aren't getting in the first team squad, so they need to play in them games. So for me, no, I think Casey did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, can you see maybe? I'm not saying trim down the squad, but different people, maybe leaving in the space for devs.
Well, look at it when Galton and Hanson were injured. We looked ragged. We didn't look like we had a full squad. Yeah. So no, I wouldn't trim it down, but you just got to be, like I said, it's just patience, because these, like I said, young girls. So you just got to be patient with them, and if they're good enough, they'll make it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Obviously, when I'm coming back to you a lot, Dave, because you have a bit of experience in watching academy teams. What do you think when you do see, say, it's an under-21 league, so obviously they're playing up against 19, 20-year-olds, but a lot of them are probably 16, 17. What do you think about that kind of thing? Do you think it's better for their development? What do you think?
I think I like it at under 21. I'll talk about the men for a minute here. Just my example of it. I just think the men's under 23 league, and for me, it's a waste of time. Because for me, if you're not in the first team by the time you're 23, or you're not out on loan somewhere, what's the point? You're just stuck around in this reserve league doing nothing. So 21, cut it back to that, is great, and the girls have gone through that. But it's also that league is also used as a tool, like I mentioned before, for the first team, players coming back from injury who need a game, or so it's like the old reserve league, which I like, where it's a mixture of academy players, first team players, and it just helps. It helps the first team players. It helps the youngsters. I just think all around it's a good, nice age group, 21, just because you can work everything around that.
Yeah, I mean, as we start adding players, do you think it's going to harm the devs, or what do you think if our squad grows over 21?
I think Casey wants it to work, because she wants a young squad, doesn't she? Look at the signings we've had and the players we've got, and we've seen her at games as well, at the under 21s game. She's interested in going to them. So it's just an extra strength for Casey's bow. You know, if it's just another unit there. You know, obviously Charlotte's running it, but if she needs a player, she can consult that and bring it in. Yeah.
Yeah. Fiona's just said it again. Do you see some of the devs going out on loan like Newsham did? Do you see more going out?
I do. I think. Yeah. I think. Well, this season we've only had Newsham out on loan, haven't we? Last season, I'm trying to think. There was. I don't know if there was any of the development team last season, but yeah, I think 3 or 4 should be going out.
And
it's
let me
just good experience.
Yeah, Newsham's loan. It wasn't a loan, and it was a loan playing football on the weekend for Huddersfield, or if they get another. But I think Huddersfield's sort of our national team, and then it was playing for the devs in the midweek when we had midweek matches, which I think if more of them actually did that, I think it's better because it's getting more football into them. Like we were saying, it would be good if Maria did that, played on the whenever Wednesday, Thursday nights with the devs, and then the Sundays goes and plays an actual full against a full women's side. You know what I mean? For a full women's side, and I just think that'll then push them forward. I mean, I think even people like Newsham. I mean, we don't know what will happen, but it'll be good if she could. Now, maybe we need some fullbacks. Right, we've got a Newsham there. Let's play her.
Yeah, for me, if Newsham stays around, I think I won't put her on loan. I'd have her as like a backup now, where she is playing in the under-21, but she's that cusp of getting in the first team where they need her. So yeah.
And I mean, I think as well, like we were sort of saying about devs. I mean, I don't know what I know you sort of touching it with Twan David, but I'd want to see the devs played. You know what I mean? If we needed someone on the wing and pretend if
my thing was, on the wing. It's fine if you're going to use them, but don't put them on the bench if you're not going to use them. That's my thing. I just don't see the point of that.
No, but I'm saying I would use them, but for example, centre back is a big position to put them into straight away. So someone like Poppy and Chloe, yes, I wouldn't play them even if we were ready. I wouldn't even play them straight in centre back. I would, unless it's in the back three. But I would play her a right back, a position that's not really gonna.
I just think though, these players we've only ever seen them in this under-21 league. So someone like a Poppy, if she did go out on loan next season, you see how she did, and then you know if she was ready to actually play in the league.
Yeah.
If you just throw them in the deep end, it might harm them. So
yeah,
you just got to be careful because it's the age. Like I say, that they are young. So if they were, for example, say like Poppy was 20, 21, I'd say yeah, go for it. But she's a kid at the end of the day, and you're playing in a proper league, and it could harm him.
Yeah. I think though Maria 17, I think she's definitely at that. I think she's 16 or 17. She
needs for me a loan, and I think maybe 2 years of loan and national league, then a championship, and then I think she'd be ready then.
But obviously, with Rebecca May, who is older, but she's shown that pathway that there is.
Yeah.
And like I said, if we see more 16-year-olds come through, it's bolstering the under-21 squad. I mean, what do you think of it generally then? Do you think that it'll be good to see? I mean, where do you think? I know it's a separate, we're not looking at in terms of winning something, but what do you think? Where do you think, the devs they could do with another right back, or what do you think?
I don't really know because I don't know what's happening with the goalkeeper situation.
Alex
they
could do with another goalkeeper if, say, Alex. There has been a time when Alex went off.
I've heard rumours that Alex might be going college in America, maybe something like that if she can. But you've got to look at the first team now, and how many goalkeepers have we got? So they might just use it to bring one of the first team goalkeepers playing there.
Yeah, what you've seen.
I'm not bothered about winning. I mean, don't get me wrong. When we beat City, and even the last game we went to when we beat City, really enjoyed it. But it wasn't about, for me, it's not about winning. It's about player development and getting them into the first team. You can win all the cups and trophies if you want, but if you don't get any of the players into the first team, it's a waste of time.
No, I totally understand, but I'm just saying in terms of, like you say, Alex, she came off that. There was a time she had concussion. We didn't have a second goalkeeper, so maybe that's a position. And I know that there is I know 16 is young, but if they're 17 next year, to me, I know the 16. I know of the player, so and the talk of people coming through. So I think, why not just 16?
I know what you're saying.
Well, put them in. What's your opinion then, Dave, of it being 21 and 16? I know you said it was reserves and that's how you liked it, but is it always been like that way with the men when it was reserves? Was it 21 and 16 or was it 21 and 18?
No, it's always been, with the men's setup, it's always under 16s, under 18s, and then it was reserves, and then it was under 16s, under 18s, then under 21s, and that now it's under 16s, under 18s, under 23s.
Yeah.
Maybe they should be instead of having an under 16s, they should just change it back to under 18s, maybe. But it's getting all the other teams to do it as well. That's the thing. The league have got to set that up. And then, well, yeah, I'm happy it's at, like I say, I'm happy it's at 21 rather than 23.
Do you think it's a big jump though, potentially going from 16 to 21s? I mean, I know that a lot of that team is young anyway, so they're going to be around the same age, 16, 17. But then, like you said, they could then come up against 21 and older.
But I'll bring it back to the lads again. I'm going to contradict myself here, where I've said I'm not bothered about the league position and all that. But if you look at the under 21s for us, we're in Division 2. The lads, majority of them they're 18, 19. They've come up from the 18s team, so they're a young under 23 team, and they're second in the league. I think the same a game in hand, and the same amount of points. It's just goal difference. So they can do it. You can see these young lads, and they're playing it. I mean, we went to the last under 23 away game we went to. It was Stoke away, and they had Ryan Shawcross playing, and players like that. So they come across players like that. I do think when you do come across these players, that does help your development. For example, say like Millie Bright or something got injured, and then they played her for Chelsea, and then we played Chelsea's under 21s just to get her a bit of game time. Then Maria Edwards come against her. I think that would be a brilliant experience for her, because it's a proper defender. It's England's number one centre back, really. And if Maria Edwards just work on her and see how she comes across, she might at the end of the game think, yeah, I'm not at that level yet, But it's encouraging, So I do think players like that will happen. And like with the City game, or even I can't think with the game we played, where Martha Harris and Jackie Gronin played for the reserves. That was the Arsenal game. That was Arsenal. They both played in the first half. That would have been great for especially Jackie Gronin, who'd been in the World Cup final. If you're a centre back or like a left back for Arsenal, a young girl playing against Jackie Gronin, that's got to be a great experience for you.
Well, if I throw back to the pre-season we had, and we played against, remember I told you, it was Birmingham. It was Rachel Williams, Birmingham's sort of longest standing centre back coming back from injury. I actually sent a picture and said we're playing against her. I had Poppy and Chloe against her. But to be fair, it wasn't even her that caused them that much trouble. It was more the other young winger that caused them trouble. But in the second half, they got even stronger against her, and it wasn't,
I mean, it would be daunting for him at first if you're coming across an established player. Well, you just go into the game, and it'll come across another game, and you just got to deal with it. And I do think that's what's good about letting first team players go into the under 21s. And there is a cap on it. You can't just throw everyone in there. Yeah. So I do think it helps player development.
I mean, it's the second to last game that we watched. It was Bristol.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of. I mean, I get what you're saying. They can't just throw everyone, but there was Aurora, Lizzie, Martha, Palmer. Toon didn't play that, did they?
I think you can play 3 outfields and 1 keeper. The keeper doesn't really count. So I think Amy Palmer played because she's not played since she's come back from Sheffield, which we won't talk about now. Yeah. But she needed a bit of game time. Lizzie, who'd not been playing, she played, and she got a hat trick in that game, which was good for her. She got a headed goal as well. And who was the other one? Sorry, who played?
Martha.
Martha as well. Who's not been. Yeah, so it's just stretching the legs out for them, getting a bit of game time. But
which is good. But I don't want to see the.
But for example, that game, you've got, like I say, Palmer. You've got the three players we just mentioned. When I came away from that game, I obviously thought, oh, well done for Lizzie for scoring the hat trick. But for me, it was like I thought Tara Bourne played brilliantly in that game. You know,
Chloe as well, Chloe Williams.
Yeah. So it's not about the first team players really. Even though they can help them, it was just I thought, like I say, Tara and Chloe played really well.
That's what I don't want to see happen, though, in a way. There was a game we saw when Molly wasn't really playing and was just playing the cup. She did play a few devs. You've seen her a lot of times in the devs. I've seen her one time. I don't want it just then turning into, if the first team can't play, then it's just here. I don't want it to turn into, I don't even really want to see the first team. Not in a horrible way. I love seeing the first team, and every time I see Molly or Martha, but I'm just sort of like, oh, I'm a bit disappointed. I don't want to see Martha. I want to see Phoebe. I don't want to see Palmer here. I want to see Rebecca May. You know what I mean? I don't want to see Molly. I want to see Fran. You know what I mean? Fran Staples.
I know what you're saying, but like I said earlier, it's a tool for Casey to use to bring players through, or use it for players who need a bit of game time. It's not all about the game. It's all about what they can get out of the players there with it. So I understand what you're saying, but I kind of disagree as well, because it is handy for Casey. If Molly didn't go out on loan and she needed a bit of game time, she's got some games coming up, but not played in a while. It's perfect to throw her in there to.
I'm going to talk about a bit of other teams as well. I've heard a lot. I don't know if you went to see it, but I've heard a lot. Liverpool put in a lot of first teamers as well, and I think the time when we beat Liverpool, I know we weren't there, but I think they did play a few first teamers. So like you said, it comes good. But what do you think of teams that just sort of throw the first team in? Or
if you just play them in week in, week out, I don't understand that. But it's using it cleverly, where you are using it for players and you just a bit of game set. Like when I saw Tooney, she just played the one game. Siggy just played the one game. Gronin's just played the one game. Martha's played a couple, but not in a row, months apart. So I think Casey's using it properly, and Charlotte's not taking advantage. Say, we want to win this game, so give me a load of first teamers. It's not working like that.
Well, let me through the grapevine, I've heard that's how some teams use it. We want to win this game.
It happens in the men's team as well. It's happened for years, and that's one of the reasons why they changed the men's to under 23 from under 21, because so they could play more first teamers in there.
Where do you see the future, say, of this league? Do you see an under 18 team coming? Do you see maybe an under 19 and an under 21, or do you just?
I'd like it to mirror the men's team, really. If you could have like an under 18s team and an under 21s, but they need to figure the league out. There's obviously not enough teams in there, and they're playing. Like we talked before, the way it's set up, where you can play one team 3 times, another team 4 times, one team 2 times. It needs to be a proper league where you're playing home and away, and that's it. So if you can get, if there's 12 teams in the league, I think that's more than enough to play home and away. You're playing every week, and you got to remember these girls as well. They're in the internationals for the under 18s, under 19s, under 21s, whatever there is. So there is international breaks for them as well.
Yeah, not even all the teams are WSL teams, even though it's WSL Academy. There's
but that's all about that's all about the academy setup. The same with the men's. Like Sunderland, they're in the top division for the under 18s, but their first team's not there because they've got a good academy setup, so it's ranked differently.
And with Ipswich, they ended up playing Man City, and a lot of the girls who played Man City in the cup actually played against our girls at Carrington. I can't remember the score. I think we just won, or maybe they just won. It's by the by. But when you're seeing things like that, like an Ipswich, what do you think, Dave? What's your opinions?
It's fine. Like I say, it's all about the academy setup. So I don't mind if I'm trying to think of a WSL team. Like Liverpool, say like they haven't got a good academy. I'm just using them because it's the first thing that came to my head. It don't mean that they should automatically have an academy team, even if they haven't got the players there in the top league. It's all about. I'm sure it's worked on how the academy's ranked, and so it's Europe. The league system it's like a league. You
go up and down.
Yeah, but that's how it should run. And what the under-18s do with the men as well. Sorry, just before I forget, is it's a North and South league. So the under-18s play all the northern teams. I think it's basically West Brom up to Newcastle, and then the Southern League is everything below that. So there was enough teams to get in there, and it means that the girls don't have to travel around as much. But I think they should have an under-18s because I just think it's beneficial. It's just stages of development. If it's 16 to 21, it's a big jump. So 16, 18, 21, I think that's perfect.
Yeah, definitely is a big jump. But we're seeing a couple of the little 16-year-olds doing well. Like I said, Phoebe Helen, I think Maz is either 16, Fran Staples might be 16, 17. So I suppose we are seeing them doing well. And, now potentially, obviously we've done this video, but can you see it getting a bit more popular? Can you see United maybe talking about it? We got to that final. It was tweeted when the 16s and Poppy was the captain, they won the league. They came to league. Can you see it?
I don't know because we're still in the infancy of the women's football, aren't we? I mean, the first team doesn't really promote everything properly yet. I know that the under 21s, they want all the information to be put out there and just to promote it more and get just so they got a bit of support, and it's helpful as well. I mean, when we went to Reading and Rebecca May played, how there must have been excluding her parents, there must have been 5 people in the crowd who've seen her play. And who knew who she was. So it'd be nice if it's promoted a bit more, and then when she makes her first team, it's like, people know who they are.
She plays for the Devs, yeah. And I think that's the case. I think just like I was. You watched the men's developments, the reserves a lot. I've never seen that progress. So for me to see her and then come on, that was a big moment for me. I even said to you, it felt like I was a proud parent.
Yeah, that's like weird, but no, but I do understand what you're saying in a way.
So it's resonated in me, and I think, like you said, innit, she was on the bench versus Chelsea, and people are like, "Who's this? Who's this? Oh, why is she there?" Not in a horrible way to her, but they don't know who she is. So they're questioning, like, why does she, what she done to deserve to be there? But if you actually watch her through the whole season, you'd be like, actually, boom.
But it's one of them as well. Unless you're watching, like I do, the under-18s home and away, and the reserves home and away, or even if you got MUTV and you're watching the games. I always remember years ago, like Giuseppe Rossi when he made his debut, and the guy next to me, who's this kid? Never heard of him. People don't know, and even like Rashford when he started against Midtjylland, people around me didn't have a clue who he was.
Yeah,
and,
obviously, that because not everyone wants to watch that. Some people are only ever interested in the first team, so people watching might only be.
The majority are going to be like that, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I think there is that. I think when we tweet and when we talk about it, I mean, there's a lot of people watching here now. We're trying to get the name out. People saying same with Brandon Winter. We're trying to get these names out. Actually, people are talking a lot about Maria Edwards because she's scoring a lot of goals, but people who take it easy.
Because we've been tweeting. I've been tweeting out from the Barmy Army account during the games, and you've been retweeting it and then talking about it.
Yeah.
If we didn't go to the games and put that information out, probably nobody ever heard of her.
Yeah.
So that's a way where United needs to step up a bit, really. And even if they're not doing match updates, even if they're just like at the end of the week, say, this week the under 21s played so many goals, we won, beat blah blah blah, goals scored by blah, just basic information, really. It's not even on the United website, and if you're trying to find out the information, it's a bit of a pain to find it out.
Yeah.
Like when we've been to games, but a lot of games have clashed with either the women's first team or, for me, the men's first team or the under 23s or whatever. And when you're trying to find out when the game's on what the score is. The only way you're going to know if someone's at the game.
Yeah.
You know,
And
so you can ask them.
We've had it, Dave. 1 minute we found out, right, there's a game on today and it says X location, and next minute you find out and you head down there and it's not on. We've had 2 or 3 people do that.
The first game of the season, was it Ipswich in the league?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think whatever it was supposed to be X location, and it was so people went down there, and United had changed it to Carrington the night before, but not told anybody, and people turned up to watch it, and then were told, "Oh, it's at Carrington." So people went to Carrington. You can't come in.
Yeah.
So it's just simple things like that.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it through the devs that we know, through the staff members that we know. Oh, this is, they try to help us because they know that we're coming to support. They know it's all a genuine thing, and it's just about, I suppose, keeping it like that. People do want to know because when we tweet it goes off. Everyone's talking about it. People are like, we need more information. So I think maybe, like you say, maybe don't put it out there full yet because we know that it might get sort of maybe the wrong crowd, but put it out little bits, like little drips, put stuff in the program. They did it last year. They just did a little RTC section, so maybe do a little under 21 section every month.
That could even be a better thing. Like programs, if you go to Old Trafford, I know you don't get programs when you go to Old Trafford, but I do. And in the back, there's a weekly roundup of how the under 23s did, or maybe a fortnightly. If they
that games go ahead.
Of what the under 23s did, the list of the players, the appearances, the goals. Same with the 18s, and they do it with the women as well. How the women have got on in the past 2 weeks. So if the women's program and where it's got all the stats of the games, the page before it, if it said, "Oh, and this week for the under 21s,
they did this and this," yeah,
and then it's got who we played, who we got to play up. That could be a.
And it's got scorers, top score, just little things.
Well, like Rebecca May, like Reading. I know it was a away game, but say like it was at Lee. Rebecca May's on the bench. You could look to the program and say, "Oh, she's there. She's played so many times for the under 21, scored so many goals."
Yeah. Well, yeah. If they know that, pretend when Maria was on the bench, and the week after they do, right, this is Maria Edwards, this is this is that, right, this is Chloe Williams, this is the. Not saying go into detail, give all the details.
Just stats.
Yeah, because their interest is there. And if you don't give people information, then obviously they might not be interested. But if you just give them that little bit, they'll be interested. But never. We'll have to see. It's been a good little chat, Dave. I like these little chats. Next week, I'm going to do a little chat about Lone FC. Me and a Blade, Hannah and Amy's. We're going to come on. We're going to talk. We're going to talk about all the different things. So just DM me, guys. Even drop comments in here and just tell me like what you want to speak about in terms of Lone FC. Obviously, we've had Ebony out there, we've had Fran, we've had Nom, but this year it's been Ramsey, Molly, and Palmer. So if there's anything you want to know about those girls, or why Sheffield, or anything like that, let us know. Dave, is there anything you need to say, or anything last words that you want to say about the devs? Hopefully, we'll see you.
I'm just unfortunate this season's been ended, but I think it's the most sensible thing. I just hope it happens with the first team now, and just let's look forward to next season.
Yeah, next season, the devs starting again. Mark saying the Blades my second team. Listen, they're my loan team. I'm on loan there. The devs are my second team, mate. Well, I love the devs like they're my first team, and it's great to see. But yeah, it is unfortunate. I don't know what will happen with the first team, but it's unfortunate if the first team carry on and they can't. But then this might lead to the quick games. You might then see some devs having to fill in. You never know, because there could be some, if there's a lot of games, could be injuries. Some players can't play a lot, right? Just slide in, bring in Rebecca May, bring in Tara, bring in Chloe and Poppy at the back. We never know. Thanks, guys. We're going to switch off. See you soon. See you next week, same time.